I am investing in silver. So I'm buying physical silver and I'm buying silver on the stock market as well. So this video is not sponsored and I just want to share with you what I'm doing and why. Now in today's video, I'm going to be covering why I'm investing in silver, how much that I believe it's going to go up, and my exit strategy. So when I plan to sell and what I'm going to do with the money. So before we move any further, you must know that when it comes to investing, I believe in diversification. So silver is just one of a variety of assets that I'm accumulating. But honestly, I've said this before, that silver is one of my favorites. So here are the key reasons why I'm investing in silver. It's because the demand for silver is greater than its supply. When it comes to inflation, silver protects you from inflation. Silver has a proven history, and at this point, I still believe that silver is undervalued. So if you see my previous videos, I've been saying for years that I've been buying silver, but I still believe that now is a good entry point, which we're gonna go into more depth. But we're gonna begin with supply and demand. Now, to start this conversation, this is very important. You must understand that silver has special physical and chemical properties. Again, this is very important, so we're gonna nerd out for a second. So silver is the most conductive metal. Electricity flows through silver more easily than any other metal. So copper is the second most conductive metals, and copper, of course, is much cheaper than silver. But the thing is that if you're gonna go high performance and you need the very best, then you're gonna go with silver. If you need to go the cheaper routes or like the good enough routes, then you go with copper, like copper wiring. So gold is the third most conductive metal. So in terms of conductivity, gold is not the best, and of course, it's extremely expensive. So anyways, silver is the benchmark. It's the gold standard when it comes to conductivity. Now, with you having that knowledge, just think of how critical silver is in our world of growing electrification and smart technology. So silver is used in electric vehicles, from the electronics to the battery system to charging components. Now with a regular vehicle, so I'm talking about an internal combustion engine vehicle, there's 15 to 28 grams of silver per vehicle. With a battery electric vehicle, we're talking about 25 to 50 grams of silver per vehicle. So as electric vehicles become more popular, then more silver will be required. So I want you to look at this trend. Electric vehicles are becoming more popular. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And that means that more silver will be required to fuel this trend. And I'm telling you, it's getting even more exciting for silver. Here's why. So I don't know if you're aware, but EV technology is rapidly advancing. Next generation solid state batteries are coming soon. So electric vehicles will have a 600 plus mile range. Now you're talking about a full charge in 9 minutes. And the battery itself, it's gonna be safer. There's gonna be a reduced fire risk. So solid state batteries will require 1,000 grams of silver per vehicle. So that's 20 times more silver than your current electric vehicle and 40 times more silver than a non-EV. So 1,000 grams is a kilogram of silver, or about 2.2 pounds of silver, or about $1,100 worth of silver per vehicle at today's current rate. So Samsung expects commercial production to begin in 2026, mass production in 2027, and they're gonna begin with Lexus EVs in 2027. And it's not just Toyota and Lexus, other EV makers from BYD to Dodge, they're gonna be going the way of solid state batteries. And it's just a no-brainer. And as if that's not exciting enough, silver is used in solar panels. So that shouldn't be a surprise, given that you now know how great silver is with electricity. So solar cells produce electric currents when sunlight hits them, right? So silver conducts this current more efficiently than any other metal, minimizing energy loss. So you're talking about a higher efficiency. I mean, you could use a knockoff like copper, but if you're gonna go for high performance, then you're gonna go with silver. And it's 1.2 grams per solar panel. And just take a look at the growth of solar energy worldwide. The US Energy Information Administration expects solar installations in the US to grow by 26% in 2025. Worldwide, solar installations are expected to grow by 10% in 2025. And of course, more solar panels mean more silver needed. And yes, artificial intelligence and high performance computing requires silver. So you're talking about the advanced circuit boards, that require silver, as well as the AI data centers. And warfare, yes, requires silver. I mean, you're talking about the high performance electronics from the drones to the missiles to the targeting systems. Okay, so when it comes to cutting edge technology and military applications, I mean, do you think that companies and militaries, they're gonna use the very best materials like silver, or are they gonna use knockoffs like copper to save a few bucks? I'm guessing that when it comes to high performance computing and warfare, they're gonna pay the premium for silver. Now, I wanna show you the supply and demand stats from the Silver Institute. So for the past 10 years, the supply of silver has been steady, but I wanna show you what's going on. So silver mining production peaked in 2016. It's basically been going downhill since then. So what's happened is that the rich silver deposits, or you can say the low-hanging fruits, have already been depleted over the decades or even over the centuries. So there has been a limited number of new discoveries, basically not enough to replenish the depletion of existing silver mines. So right now, only 25% of silver is coming from silver mining. What's happening is that 75% of silver that's produced, it comes as a byproduct from mining operations from gold or copper or lead or even zinc. So what I'm essentially saying is that they cannot easily ramp up silver production even if they wanted to. But as you can see, the recycling of silver has been picking up. However, the increase in recycling, it's only been good enough to offset the decrease in production, which has allowed the supply of silver to be steady over the past 10 years. But if you look at the numbers, that's not good enough because demand has been increasing. So here's the growth for silver demand. And I want to show you where the growing demand is coming from. So here's the growth in industrial demand. And below what I've outlined, you can see how electronics and solar energy have a growing demand for silver. And I suspect that it's just going to increase with our technological roadmap ahead. So this is the same data for supply and demand, but it's just charted out. As you can see, for 2021, 22, 23, 24, and this year, 2025, there is more demand for silver than there is supply. And when you have more demand than supply, it drives prices higher. Now, let's move on to another reason why I'm investing in silver. It's because inflation will push up the price of silver. So that's going to be true for commodities in general. Okay, so you've probably seen headlines like this, that the dollar is losing purchasing power due to inflation. And that's true because of all the money printing. But I want to show you how far we've come. So this is from 1971. A new house back then cost $25,200. A new car cost $3,560. A movie ticket was $1.50. Eggs, 45 cents a dozen. A loaf of fresh baked bread, 25 cents. Okay, so we all know that inflation has devalued the dollar and it's not stopping anytime soon. Therefore, over time, you can expect inflation to push up the price of silver, which means that silver will protect you from inflation. Okay, but this brings up a good question. Does this mean that silver is only a store of value and it's not an investment? So in other words, is silver only going to preserve your wealth? I would argue no. I believe that silver, at least right now, is more than just a store of value. That's because I believe that silver will outperform inflation. So I believe that inflation, yes, it's naturally going to push up the price of silver, and I would say that you can think of that as your safety net. But I believe that silver will outperform inflation because of the supply and demand dynamics. So if your primary focus is on wealth preservation, then I would recommend that you purchase gold, which I like, and I own that as well. But ultimately, your silver, it's not going to be devalued by inflation. Another reason why I'm investing in silver is because of its proven history. So silver has been used as money for thousands of years, from the Roman Empire to the founding of the United States of America. So it's survived inflation, government collapses, and financial panics. So silver has stood the test of time. And I want some of my money to be in something that's real, tangible, and historically reliable. And I'm investing in silver because I believe that it's undervalued. So I want to explain to you what I mean by that, because this isn't just a gut feeling. I'm looking at the gold to silver ratio, which is a simple way to measure how expensive or cheap silver is compared to gold. Okay, so here's some stats. Currently, about 8 times more silver is mined than gold. The Roman Empire said that 12 silver coins equals 1 gold coin. Many ancient civilizations said that 15 silver coins equal 1 gold coin. The US Coinage Act of 1792 says that 15 silver coins equals 1 gold coin. So historically speaking, 15 ounces of silver is equal value to 1 ounce of gold. But right now, gold is around $3,300 an ounce, and silver is at $33 an ounce. So that means that the gold to silver ratio, the GSR, is at 100 to 1. And historically speaking, that is a high gold to silver ratio. So look at what the GSR has been over the past 100 years. So back in the 60s and 80s, the GSR fell to around 20. That means that it only takes 20 silver coins to get you a gold coin. But most of the time, the gold to silver ratio is in the 40 to 80 range. So it's common for the GSR to be around 60. So the question is, right now, is gold overvalued? Is silver undervalued? Or maybe a little bit of both? But regardless, in relation to gold, historically speaking, silver is cheap right now. And either gold drops or silver plays catch up. And if silver closes the gap and gets back to the historical average, then it would mean a significant price increase for silver. So that's why I consider silver to be one of the best value opportunities in the market today. That's why I'm saying it's one of my favorites, because it's not just a safe haven, it's a discounted asset with some serious upside potential. Okay, so where can you buy silver? So you can buy physical silver or buy silver on the stock market. So there are pros and cons to each. I can dedicate a separate video to this topic. Now, if you want to buy physical silver, I'll tell you this. These are some quick points that I want to give you. It's very, very important tips. So do not buy from Craigslist. Like, dear God, no. Do not buy silver for spot price or cheaper on eBay. You might think that you're getting a good deal, but no, you're getting scammed. It will be fake silver, like I guarantee it. If you're buying silver on the internet, only buy from name brand websites. So I'm not gonna name names, I'm not gonna give free promotions because this video is not sponsored. If you're buying on eBay, only buy from sellers that have a 99.9% positive feedback rating with over 50,000 reviews, and there are multiple. Always test your silver and establish a relationship with a coin shop, or at least locate and investigate where you can offload your silver for when the time comes. So my physical silver, it consists mostly of coins. For the coins, it's silver eagles. For rounds, sunshine buffaloes. And for the bars, 10-ounce sunshine mints. Now, if you don't want to deal with all these things with physical silver, then you can always just buy SLV on the stock market. So you can just buy it and sell it like a stock, and it tracks the price of silver. So I like having physical silver because it's in my possession and I'm just old school like that, I guess. I like having SLV in the stock market because it's extremely liquid. Like if I want to buy and sell $1 million worth of silver, like I could do that in a few seconds with SLV. Now, I want to share with you my exit strategy. So this is when I plan on selling silver and what I'm going to buy with that money. Okay, so right now, silver is around the low 30s, troy ounce. And I'm telling you, I am not willing to let go of any of my silver for less than $50 an ounce. So I'd say no way. I believe, and this is just my opinion, that silver will reach the triple digits. So it's just a question of when. Okay, so what price am I aiming for? Am I aiming for 60 or 100, 150, 300, or what is it? So I'm telling you that my exit strategy does not have a fixed price. I am not aiming for a specific dollar targets. So I'm gonna give you my warning signs on when to sell. So it's a fluid situation. So when the gold to silver ratio, when the GSR gets to around 50, that is not a bad time to start selling. When it gets to around 40, like I better offload a good amount, if not all. If you're looking for even lower than that, then I would be pushing my luck then. Another warning sign to sell is when investor demand just shoots up, when basically there's FOMO, okay? And another warning sign to offload is when there's a short squeeze. So that's basically if the chart ever ends up looking like this, something like this. Okay, now what am I gonna do with my money from selling silver? So first of all, I'm not gonna sell all my silver, but if the price is right, I am not opposed to selling the majority of my silver. And what would I do with that money? Okay, so practically speaking, I will most likely have to sell my silver for US dollars. And I don't wanna be holding this devaluing fiat currency. So upon exchanging my silver for dollars, I will immediately use that money to buy either or a combination of gold, platinum, land in the US, or properties outside the US, or stocks. So which one is it gonna be? Well, I'll tell you, it just depends on what is the better buy at that point in time. And also, I will stay diversified. And as the price of silver falls in the months and years after, I will consider replenishing my silver. Now, I must warn you of these two very important things. So the price of silver generally follows the price of gold. So if gold goes up, silver goes up. If gold goes down, silver goes down. Now, investors run towards gold in times of financial uncertainty or chaos. So gold is a safe haven asset, right? So you would think that if the stock market crashes, then the price of gold would immediately shoot up, right? But I'll tell you, no, it doesn't work like that. If the stock market crashes, generally gold initially goes down. That's because when the stock market crashes, investors get margin calls or liquidated out of their positions and they need the money. So they sell anything and everything, including gold. And then afterwards, gold does well and it outperforms. So it's gonna be no different with silver. In the event of a stock market crash, most likely silver will initially fall too. So silver is not gonna go straight up, especially if we have a correction or a crash. So if that happens, I mean, that would be a great buying opportunity, but the stock market may not crash in 2025 or 2026. So the second thing that you need to know is that the price of silver is manipulated. It is no secret. In 2020, JP Morgan admitted to unlawful trading in precious metals, including silver. So the unlawful trading included spoofing to manipulate prices, so something that was banned in 2008 after the financial crisis. So some of the traders were sentenced to prison. So again, this is no secret. The manipulation continues. I mean, they have their reasons to suppress the price of silver. So if you see silver get pummeled for no reason, I would not be surprised and I would take that as a buying opportunity, to be honest. But this manipulation, it involves a lot of shorting. And one day this is gonna unwind and it's gonna backfire on them. And I'll tell you, when that happens, it's gonna be glorious. So there's a potential for a massive short squeeze. Anyways, that is why I'm investing in silver, and that's what I plan on doing. Please subscribe. I'll be making more videos about precious metals. Thank you so much, and I wish you a very nice day. Take care.